Ladies, gentlemen, and anyone else, welcome to the actual news. Premise of this podcast is basically that I don't think that people really in general need more than about 15 minutes of news a week. So I'm going to watch the news. I'm going to absorb all of the bullshit. I'm then going to trim out as much of the bullshit as I can and then deliver it back to you in the way that a comedian does. And, I just feel like so much of it is pointless. Like, how much news is like Trump saying something and then CNN reporting Trump said a thing. Trump said he might be considering a thing. And then they pay a guy $10 million dollars a year to go stand in front of the White House and say, Trump is considering a thing. We are waiting on details. I love when there's a news report that's like details to come. All right, well, get the details and then get it back to me. That's your job, right? But they're incentivized to have news on all of the time, so they can then cut to a commercial, and while you're scared, they sell you some Doritos. That's basically how it goes. By the way, I will be doing an ad read for Magic Spoon protein treats midway through this podcast, so I'm not above them. I just think that I can get you the news more efficiently, even while being a comedian with ADHD sitting in a basement in front of a green screen fresh off of a bong rip. Just how I feel. So look, I do want to talk about why people in general do not trust the media anymore. Because you're either typically now in a camp where you feel like you are just totally apathetic to any information coming at you, or you feel like at least your source of news is better than all these other dumb sources of news. And I'll tell you, if you're in the latter camp, I think you're probably wrong, unless you're doing a ton of independent research. And I do not mean looking at bullshit conspiracy theories on the internet, right? By independent research, I would actually mean meticulously analyzing what a bunch of independent journalists say while also considering their biases and credibility at the same time, which is what I do, and that's only because I'm a freak. So you have the liberal media, you have the conservative media, and frankly, both of them in a mainstream sense are not credible. Okay. Liberal media has lost so much credibility in the past 5 or 6 years especially. And look, have they lied willingly about a few things? Yes. Liberal media, sure, they've lied about Donald Trump colluding with Vladimir Putin to win the 2016 election. And, the origin of the COVID-19 pandemic being naturally occurring when really it was a result of gain-of-function research funded by the United States and then physically developed in China. And, there was always the whole Hunter Biden laptop thing, and then also the nature of the inflation of Biden's economy, and also the president Joe Biden being in a full-on cognitive decline that the entire liberal media and White House basically knew about and worked to try to cover up and then couldn't even cover up because the dude was just walking off stage mid-sentence. And then their spin wasn't even good. Like, dude, Joe Biden would be just in the middle of a press conference and wander off, and then it would cut to an anchor on MSNBC being like, Joe Biden has a stutter. Like, dude, no, he just called the president of China Jackie Chan. We're scared. And then conservative media, I know conservatives now love to be like, wow, all these dumb liberals, these stupid, silly liberals are so hypnotized. And it's like, dude, Fox News had to pay out $787 million because of their reporting during the 2020 election. Right? Remember they started reporting all this stop the steal stuff? There's literally text messages between anchors at Fox News being like, this kind of seems like bullshit that we know that the 2020 election was stolen from Trump. And then they went on anyway, and they were like, bullshit, 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 bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Tucker Carlson's particular cadence. And what is this bullshit? It's bullshit, 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 bullshit. And then you got, plenty of other examples. Like Trump is in power now, so they're just doing their version of what CNN was doing with Biden, which is spinning absolutely anything that occurs in ways that are like insulting to the intelligence of even the dumbest people in this country, who are pretty dumb. Like just, I think 2 weeks ago, the National Security Advisor was in a group chat with the Vice President, the Secretary of Defense, and some other colorful characters. And they're discussing an attack in Yemen. And the NSA, the Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, accidentally added a journalist to the group chat. Bro, are you joking? Are you okay? That's a boomer move, but that's a boomer move on a level that could have cataclysmic results for the world, at least this country. So this dude has a boomer moment. He literally went on Fox News and said that what happened was the journalist got sucked in. He got sucked in. He got sucked into the group chat. Like a wind turbine. That's how a group chat works. Okay, so Fox News does this spin. They literally said that, I think it was Pete Hegseth who came out and said it, but then they, of course, were able to, were more than willing to repeat it and push this narrative. He said they were not discussing war plans in the group chat. They were discussing attack plans.
Nobody's texting war plans. Well, I noticed this morning, out came something that doesn't look like war plans. And as a matter of fact, they even changed the title to attack plans because they know it's not war plans.
Oh, okay. Dog, you just used synonyms. Those are the same thing. Like, sweetie, I didn't cheat on you. I had an affair. Like, what are we even doing at this point? So you got liberal media that you cannot trust. You got conservative media that you cannot trust because they're both just willing to abandon whatever fact reporting needs to be done in order to make it look like their team is winning. Instead of having like one of those t-shirt cannons, they just have propaganda shooting out that's either for the Democrats or the Republicans. Are often just like the FBI or the CIA or the deep state in general. But look, man, the point is you can't trust cable news, and people realize that. So they either fall into still even knowing they're being lied to, just sort of subscribing and believing in one of these major sides of the cable news, or they often just fall to conspiracy theorists. And look, these guys, I will say, have had a much higher batting average lately. Okay? Absolutely. But they are not these see-all prophets who can really look through the bullshit, man. Like, look at Alex Jones, probably the most infamous conspiracy theorist of all time now. And I'm aware that he has paid his price for this, but that guy literally thought that the Sandy Hook shooting, where someone shot a bunch of elementary school kids in Connecticut, was fake and all the parents were actors hired by the government to make it seem like the shooting happened. And the reason you would do that is to put the public in a panic mode and have them, want to get behind gun control, thinking that, oh, the government wants to disarm its citizens, so they put on this fake mass shooting to then incentivize the public to support policies that would then make them give away their guns. And but point being that Alex Jones thought that was fake. Okay. And then later had to come out and be like, I was duped. It was real. Like, dog, how do you think these parents are acting that well? What? Like, you're telling me that the government is able to pay actors? Okay, if they were paying actors, then these people would be, I mean, it would be worse than shit you see on Tubi. Okay, they wouldn't have acting on this level. Okay, if that were true, then the Sandy Hook parents would have swept the Oscars. They would have absolutely swept. It would have been they come up and they're just like, and the the award for best picture goes to the Sandy Hook shooting. And all the parents, the kids come out of the back, everyone stands and claps. Alex Jones gives a speech. He gives a speech that goes on way too long about the importance of gun control. Like, dude, this is insane. So, like I said, you can't really trust the traditional media, and going to conspiracy theorists, that's also really just not the right move. So, you're in a position now where you want to know what's going on, and it's very tough to come to terms with the fact that it feels like there's nobody you can trust. And what I'm here to say to you is that I am the only one. Again, a comedian sitting in his basement in front of a green screen, fresh off of a bong rip. I mean, not as fresh off as I was 10 minutes ago, but pretty fresh off a bong rip, is a guy you can trust. And I don't mean that I'm going to get it all right. I just mean that at the very least, I'm going to be honest with you. And I would love it if you would subscribe. I would love it if you would tell your friends about the podcast. I'm also going to have a Patreon where you can pay $2 and hear bonus stories. But basically, every week I plan on doing a 15-ish minute episode where I summarize the important news, the stuff we probably need to know, and then you can get on with your life. Or if you don't have a life, you can, you can fucking get one. Folks, check out Magic Spoon protein treats for a healthy and delicious snack. I think it's healthy. Healthy is kind of like a relative term these days. I don't think anyone knows anything. Remember like Cliff Bars? These are healthy like Cliff Bars were, where it's kind of like it's just a candy bar and they threw protein in it or whatever. And people thought Cliff Bars were healthy because there was just like a guy climbing a mountain on the wrapper and you would just eat 8 of them and be like, yeah, I might run a marathon tomorrow. I don't know. And again, what is healthy? Clearly nobody knows. What is healthy? Nobody has any idea. Okay. Like like are eggs good for me? I don't know. Because the only nutritional information source I have is a reel where a very professional looking person says, don't ever eat eggs. And then the next reel is like, all you should be eating are eggs. Nobody knows. RFK replaced all the vaccines with beef tallow. Is that good? Maybe. Anyway, I got to get better at these ad reads. Magic Spoon protein treats. Check them out, or don't. I don't make much money off of this. Thanks so much for checking out today's episode. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share, go to theactualnews.net and check out our Patreon for bonus content. And we'll see you again next week.